Good day and welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen and I'm one of many volunteers that helps create programming for our station. NACTV has been seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 12, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advisors, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. Today's Neepawa banner and press is dated Friday, December the 18th, 2020. And the front page news is titled, Christmas Still Shines Bright. If you're out and about on Christmas Eve, you may notice the lights will be on in Neepawa churches. No, they won't be holding Christmas Eve services against the current Code Red health orders. Leaving the lights on will be a symbolic message that the churches are still open in a sense. Given that this is the first Christmas in living memory that we will not be worshiping in our sacred spaces, we thought it important to send a clear visual message that Christmas still shines bright and that the church is not shut or dormant, but alive and alight with the light of Christ, explained Reverend Chad McCharles of Neepawa United Anglican Shared Ministry on behalf of the Neepawa Ministerial. Reverend McCharles noted that the idea came from a nearby community. This idea was sparked when one of our church members mentioned something similar being done this Christmas at St. Mark's Anglican Church in Minnedosa, he said. I was intrigued and found myself instantly transported back to childhood memories that still fill me with a feeling of warmth and true Christmas joy. The memory Reverend McCharles recalled was one of traveling into Shoal Lake from his family's farm when he was a child for the St. Paul's Anglican Church Christmas Eve midnight Mass. It was always a thrill to arrive at St. Paul's in the dark of night, to see it all lit up with a big smoke rolling out of the chimney from the old wood furnace, he described. You could feel the warmth and light drawing you into that sacred space, which I now recognize as being remarkably symbolic of the Christmas message of the incarnational light of salvation coming into the darkened world, drawing us towards God. This is the nativity display that is lit up every night in front of the Neepawa United Anglican Ministry Church. On Christmas Eve, this church and others in Neepawa will have their sanctuaries lit up to symbolize that the churches are not dormant, even though they cannot be open. Teaching through pandemic, a learning experience. Manitoba recently saw hair salons, churches, restaurants, and gyms close. This is the second time the province has been in Code Red due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But schools, kindergarten to grade 12, have stayed open to offer staff and students any sense of a normal school year. Despite surging case numbers, as the school year approaches the halfway point, how are teachers in Neepawa coping with the constant changes and demands of educating students during a global pandemic? When asked about their initial reactions of when schools closed last spring, teachers described a wide range of emotions. Many teachers felt relief that students would continue to learn safely from home, while others were made fearful and were shocked by the decision to move completely to online learning in a matter of days. Curriculums and courses meant to be planned over weeks or even months had to be redesigned in less than 48 hours. One teacher found out that she was to begin teaching entirely online by the next week via a student who showed her the announcement made by the province on their phone. The teacher described her initial reaction as not something you're taught how to prepare for. Other educators were struck by the severity of the situation, such as a teacher in Neepawa Middle School, NMS, who certainly didn't think that Neepawa would be affected to the extent that it has been. Another NMS teacher explained how students were excited to have an extra 2 weeks off from school after spring break, but hesitated to celebrate along with them due to the alarming nature of the circumstances. In all her 50 years of being both a student and a teacher, there had never been a school closure of this magnitude, if one at all. Mr. Hollier, principal of Neepawa Area Collegiate, NACI, wanted to ensure that during online learning, students were still getting a quality education from home, and that all students and staff were well mentally, emotionally, and academically, in addition to being physically safe. Nearly a year later from the initial school closures, some teachers feel that they have adapted to a new normal quite well and have acquired valuable knowledge and technology skills. Many teachers expressed how thankful they are for how students, colleagues, and parents have supported each other throughout this learning process. Teachers from both NMS and NACI have reported how remarkably well the majority of students have been able to cope with all of the changes to their world, a much needed positive for exhausted teaching staff whose careers now extend far beyond the typical 9 to 3:30 school day. The summer provided Beautiful Plains School Division schools to the opportunity to learn how to better implement online learning and plan for any scenarios that could take place this school year. Among staff and students, there is still a shared feeling of uncertainty, all but less frantic than last spring. Staff and students overwhelmingly agree that the hardest changes to cope with are those of the lack of social interaction at school and the consequent feelings of isolation. Earlier this school year, the NACI student body took part in a survey about their personal and academic experiences throughout the pandemic. The majority of students described the past year with words such as repetitive, frustrating, and lonely. More than half of all students reported either some changes or drastic changes to their daily life, resulting in the average mental health rating being 6.4 out of 10 for NACI students. 30% of students reported moderate to severe levels of stress directly linked to the pandemic in some way. The financial strain on families was also identified as an issue students are facing due to COVID-19. Physical education teachers from NACI were among the staff members who noticed the largest shift in students' engagement. Not only are many activities restricted in gym classes, but the personal and collaborative connections between students and teachers are diminished. Physical and mental health go hand in hand. Opportunities and resources to manage stress are limited. It's not a coincidence that I'm only sleeping 4 hours a night on weekdays. You can't mentally check out. Kids are grieving normalcy. Being able to ask students what they did this weekend is gone. Special education teachers and their students have continued to encounter their own set of hurdles throughout this difficult time. Teachers and educational assistants at NMS and NACI used videos and other visual explanations to demonstrate the importance of wearing masks and social distancing to their classes. Due to many students with disabilities also having underlying health conditions, isolating the students to keep them physically safe has had other detrimental consequences to the entire community of the school. Inclusion has gone 20 years backwards. It's scary how quickly discrimination and exclusion can happen due to circumstances. Another high school teacher also mentioned how tolerance and acceptance may decrease among able-bodied students. Students may unlearn the lessons they once had about engaging with people who are different from them if they aren't surrounded by a diverse community of people in their everyday lives. Despite living amidst what will be in future history textbooks, Neepawa students have learned to cherish the brief and unpredictable moments of when our schools are allowed to enjoy the social aspects of education. The jazz band was able to play a few times, even if it was outside before the sun had risen and it was far below freezing. Sports teams were able to have a few precious hours together laughing and playing. Hope still did their annual Scare Away Hunger food drive, which generated 1.6 times more donations from our wonderful community since last year. SAGA still continued to create a safe, emotional space for LGBT students to go in the school. Student Council still planned spirit weeks that were accessible to participate in despite public health guidelines. Overall, staff members and students appreciate all that the beautiful Plains School Division and principals in Neepawa have done to fight to meet the needs of their students while maintaining their safety. New book in the works for former Neepawa resident. A former local resident who now lives in Winnipeg is putting together a fourth book. Rick Sparling, who grew up in Neepawa, has written countless articles over the years in the Neepawa Press and the Banner and Press, and now he is compiling his newspaper articles into a book. It will feature stories about his childhood in Neepawa, a tour of local businesses from days past, local sports teams, and more. His other published works include a book on public school hockey, one on amateur hockey, and one about local businesses in conjunction with Cecil Pittman and Norma Forsman. Sparling noted that this latest book has been something he's been thinking about for a number of years. My son mentioned it to me while I was on the second book, but I put it in the back of my mind, he said. The timing of it now has a lot to do with the current situation in the world. I love the research, etc., and I wanted to keep myself busy during the pandemic, Sparling explained. He added that he's been busy writing bi-weekly articles for the Winnipeg Free Press's North Kildonan publication, The Herald, and he has literally run out of topics, so this book gives him something new on which to focus. Sparling estimated the book will be less than 150 pages once it's all put together, with nearly 100 different articles, including ones he's written himself and related columns and letters written by others. 3 major series Sparling mentioned being in the book are Humor Defies Aging, Where Are They Now, and Central School. I'd love to have the book ready in the new year, he said, of the estimated timeline. He's just finished the gathering stage, collecting all the articles from newspapers as far back as 2013. He's now been speaking to a printer, figuring out how the book will be put together, and his son has already designed a front cover for it. Sparling said he plans to make sure the book is available locally, as it would be of most interest to Neepawa readers. It's stories that locals have probably read in the paper, but it's going back over them and having them all together in a keepsake, he explained. His original thought was to just get all of his articles into one book for his own keepsake, but later thought if there was any interest in it locally, he could sell it and turn the profits over to a worthwhile Neepawa cause. When all is said and done, the book isn't worth much more than the cost, he expressed. He's decided, therefore, to print 50 copies to sell, with the monies directed evenly between the Roxy Theatre in Neepawa and the Neepawa Access TV station, NACTV. So buying a book will help support those causes. Hopefully, this will be a sort of fundraiser for a couple of important Neepawa operations, he stated. This is going to be the new cover of his book, designed by his son. And this is a picture of Rick Sparling. And it's all right. Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacobsen. December 7th, RCMP responded to a COVID compliance complaint in Neepawa and found a person being non-compliant. The individual was issued a ticket for failing to comply with the public emergency health order as a result. Police also responded to reports of fraud and harassing communication in Neepawa. December the 8th, RCMP responded to a 911 hang-up in Neepawa, which was determined to have been dialed accidentally by a child in the residence. Police received multiple reports of a suspicious person in the RM of Minto O'Donnell, who after patrolling the area could not be located. Police attended the scene of a vehicle versus deer traffic collision and received a report of harassment in the RM of North Cypress Langford. December 9th, RCMP received a report of a person sleeping inside the rest stop in the RM of Minto O'Donnell. Police attended and provided a ride to the individual. December the 10th, RCMP responded to a dangerous driving complaint in the RM of Minto O'Donnell. The vehicle was stopped where it was discovered that the power steering was malfunctioning. The vehicle was towed as it was deemed unsafe to drive. Police assisted with a family disturbance in Minnedosa, conducted a well-being check in Gladstone, and received a report of a hit and run to a vehicle in Minnedosa. December 11th, RCMP were dispatched to a traffic complaint in the RM of Minto O'Donnell. Police located the suspect vehicle and found the driver to be impaired. The driver was arrested and later released with a future court date. Police received a report of a stolen vehicle in Rapid City. The vehicle was later found by another police agency and it had been lit on fire. The matter is still under investigation. December 12th, RCMP conducted various proactive traffic enforcement engaging with several motorists. December 13th, RCMP were dispatched to a single vehicle rollover in Minnedosa. There were no injuries reported. Tickets for driving without due care and open liquor were issued. Police assisted with a well-being check in Neepawa and conducted various traffic enforcement. RCMP conducted 40 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting period. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the Neepawa and Minnedosa RCMP detachments advise they will be limiting front counter services at the detachments until further notice. We request that you contact each detachment. At Neepawa, call 204-476-7340, or in Minnedosa, call 204-867-2916 to inquire about criminal record checks or to file a report. Leave a message if needed and it will be checked the following business day. Do not leave a message if you require immediate police assistance. Instead, you must dial for Neepawa 204-476-7338. Minnedosa, call 204-867-2751 or 911 to have a police officer respond to you promptly. We have a cartoon drawing. It's a comic drawing by our own Jeremy Vogt, who works here at NACTV. Hopefully you can see it. It starts out with a girl, looks like a girl and a boy, and the girl says, "I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel like Christmas this year." He says, "You know what I miss? I miss the crowds. I miss kids lined up to see Santa. I see carolers going door to door. I see crazed shoppers trampling each other for some new toy that'll be forgotten in a year." And he ends off saying, "It always puts me in a festive mood." Neepawa deems Santa's deliveries essential. The town of Neepawa has confirmed some details regarding Santa Claus's present delivering activities for this year. Santa has spoken with Neepawa's town council and various healthcare professionals to determine the plan for best practices for his annual deliveries. It has been deemed that Santa's deliveries are essential and will move forward as scheduled from the eve of December 24th into the early morning hours of December 25th. Santa has been self-quarantining with Mrs. Claus, his reindeer, and all the elves. Additionally, Santa has followed all public health orders recommended by Dr. Rusin, and there have been no cases of COVID-19 at his workshop. No travel to or from the workshop has occurred. Under these conditions, it has been resolved that Santa may enter the home of any child on his nice list who may reside in the town of Neepawa to deliver presents, providing that all children in the home are asleep in order to ensure proper physical distancing. All children listen to their families regarding COVID-19 protocols leading up to Christmas Eve to ensure the safety of Mr. Claus. All members of the council were in favor of this special resolution. A swift change for a locally made initiative. A welcome update has come quickly for a locally made initiative. Country of the Week, COTW, a program that allows participants to explore the countries of the world from the safety of their home, is now available for Manitobans for free for 3 months. This change comes just shortly after being featured in the Neepawa Banner and Press's December 4th edition and an additional article in the Brandon Sun. Minnedosa's Dave Tournier, who created the program with his daughters, shared how this change came to be. To my great surprise, I was contacted by the province of Manitoba and invited to participate in the recently announced Safe at Home program, said Tournier. On December 7th, Country of the Week was announced as one of 9 pre-approved grant recipients through the Safe at Home Manitoba program launched by the province. It is this grant which makes the 3 months of free access to COTW and all its activities possible. To take advantage of this opportunity, Manitobans need to simply visit the COTW website via www.countryoftheweek.world/Manitoba and follow the instructions provided. The 3-month period will then begin for that participant once sign-up is completed. Tournier explained this ensures that everyone is given the full 3 months, 90 days, regardless of when they sign up. As per the Safe at Home program, details that were discussed with Tournier, this method of sign-up will be available for all in Manitoba until the end of March 2021. As of 10 a.m. on December 14th, over 100 Manitobans have signed up for COTW through the Safe at Home initiative just 6 days after the announcement. Tournier said these participants range from families wanting to start the project themselves, to homeschooling families and teachers, to those who the Tournier family simply describes as just really curious adults. My daughters and I feel truly fortunate that a little in-home project we created is now able to play a role in not only helping other people better understand the world, but in also giving Manitobans something to look forward to, when every notion about something to look forward to has been a real struggle this year, he enthused. Focusing on building this program for others has honestly helped create something for us to look forward to as well. He added, now being at the point where we are able to share it so easily with so many others brings us undescribable joy. COTW initially launched as an online program this past March, just 2 months before the pandemic status for COVID-19 was declared. Since launch, membership has grown in Canada, the United States, England, Australia, Kenya, and more. This is a picture of the outdoor ice rink. It's returning just in time for Christmas. It shows Kevin Lewandowski and Sheldon Enns preparing the skating rink located in the flats in Neepawa. A couple of corrections. An error was made on the front page of the December 11th, 2020 edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press. In the Local Helping Local photo, it is Hallie Middleton pictured in the center and not Kelsey Parrott. Parrott was the individual who took the picture. And also in the December 11th paper, the information about the Banner and Press donation to the Beautiful Plains Medical Clinic stated that 10% of ad sales in the special medical clinic section was donated. However, it was actually 50% of the ad sales. The Banner and Press apologizes for the error. The next article is a Santa stopover in Minnedosa. Despite being busy with lots of last-minute preparations, Santa Claus has decided to make a quick pre-Christmas visit to Minnedosa. Jolly old St. Nick has been in contact with the Minnedosa Lions Club and has arranged to be in town on Wednesday, December the 23rd. Before everyone gets too excited about getting their gifts early, Santa will not be delivering the presents at that time, so you'll still have to wait for Christmas morning on that one. Instead, Santa will be going up and down the streets of Minnedosa, playing a few of our favorite Christmas carols and spreading a little holiday cheer. Since the reindeer are in for a busy night on Christmas Eve, they will be back in the stables at the North Pole, and Santa will be getting a ride from some of the local first responders from the community. Due to the current provincial regulations related to COVID-19, Santa will also be adhering to all the local guidelines because that is what good boys and girls do. He wants everyone to stay safe and follow health orders and hopes that you'll enjoy watching and waving from your doorsteps or front yards. Santa will be arriving in Minnedosa on December the 23rd at around 7 p.m. at the police station. A look at his travel route from there can be found online at discoverminnedosa.com. Minnedosa Lions Club member Gord Kingdon told the Banner and Press that Santa decided to visit because of the well-known generosity of the community. So as part of the visit, he and the Lions Club are requesting a little bit of support for the local food bank. People are asked to place a non-perishable food item at their curbside for volunteers to pick up during their drive-by. Those items will go towards ensuring that everyone has a good Christmas. Next is a poem written by Greg Nesbitt of Riding Mountain. He's an MLA of Riding Mountain. It goes like this. It's the end of a year we'd like to forget, but things will improve next year, you can bet. But before we all go, I'll share a few rhymes to perhaps get a smile in these challenging times. Our jobs, they have changed with constrained chamber seating as we sit in our offices in Zoom legislative meetings. Sweatpants now can work when wearing your suit, but remember that when speaking, please first press unmute. Dr. Rusin and Lynette, whose advice we must take, you deniers, please listen, this risk is not fake. Manitobans, we can do this, we're up to the task. Just maintain your distance and wear a darn mask. I know that it's tough, sometimes moods to a prize, but you can tell if they're smiling, just look at their eyes. In QP in this chamber, some of you are quite vocal, but this year, use your voice and holler out, just shop local. These holidays will be different, but still can be sweet. So be thankful and kind, and keep your distance 6 feet. Unprecedented times, they say, but what do you mean? Don't you remember this happened back in 1918? This COVID pandemic has indeed cast a pall over life and how we live it. It impacts us all. No concerts, no markets, no festivals to attend. Just think of the party when it comes to an end. It's sad for our teams we're unable to cheer, although our Bombers will be champs for 2 years. But soon with the promise of a COVID vaccine, we can then go watch a movie on the big screen. Many thanks to the workers who are on the front lines. Your efforts in this struggle are a ray of sunshine. Merry Christmas, season's greetings. Let's all raise a glass. Please stay home and remember, this too shall pass. That's very good, Greg. Now, from Gladwin Scott in Carberry. Carberry United Church held a virtual service via Facebook led by the Nicolaisen family, Gerald, Becky, Gareth, and Andy on Sunday, December the 6th. The service included several solos, duets, and quartets, which were well received by comments from Austin, Brookdale, Carberry, and Neepawa. Minnedosa United Church also held a virtual service led by Reverend Kathy Platt, which included communion and several musical solos, duets, and trios from pianist Alexis Harvey and vocalist Darlene Koch, Barry McNabb, and Jim Comrie. Westbank Cable Television carried the service December the 6th. Glad to see Reverend Eric Parker of Sherwood Park Lutheran Church, East Kildonan, and 20 other ministers stand up to Pastor Leon Fontaine of Springs Church, calling on him to repent for his actions of holding drive-in church services in contravention of public health orders. His court challenge was denied. Any donations for its defense fund should be donated to Harvest Manitoba. Their letter was also intended for the Church of God Restoration near Steinbach. Carberry's Derek Simigalski and his 2020 mixed doubles curling partner Kristen Kurwacki of Winnipeg are provincial champions who were unable to compete at the Nationals in Portage due to COVID-19. Second, for Mike McEwen's rink, Simigalski got a call from third Reed Carruthers saying his sister-in-law needed a curling partner. The rest is history. In the provincials at the Brandon Curling Club, they battled through 10 games and won the final 8-2 over Steve Irwin and Stacey Fordyce. They still may get a chance at the Nationals slated for Calgary in March. However, Curl Manitoba has scheduled a 2021 provincials at St. Vital Curling Club in February. Currently, curling and hockey are in a lockdown. This week, Bill Saunders from Fredericton, New Brunswick, who is writing a book on provincial baseball at national tournaments, phoned for information. Western Manitoba hosted 4 senior nationals centered out of Brandon, 1970, 1977, 2006, and 2008. Although baseball, New Brunswick was opposed to having the Moncton Mets travel by bus from Brandon to Neepawa, Bill Saunders and my late friend Rod Wilson, New Brunswick manager, claimed that trip was a tournament highlight. It was a beautiful summer night, and the trip showed the Maritimers some prairie landscapes, an immaculate diamond, and a wonderful beef barbecue. Moncton beat the host team 4-2 and later went home with the gold medal. Perry Bergson, Brandon's son baseball writer, sent Saunders 10 pages of coverage of the tournaments. When Manitoba hosts senior tournaments, they always field 2 teams. Barry Wouk of Angusville, tournament chairman and MSBL 14-year president, presented a complete set of catcher's equipment to Moncton All-Star catcher Mike Ivey. And the Carberry community profile this week is a girl named Zara Dixon. Zara Dixon, 17 years old, is a very sports-orientated honors student in the 2021 Carberry graduating class. While Zara enjoys fastball, hockey, volleyball, badminton, and basketball, her favorite is baseball. At the invitation of Patty Hackle, a sports enthusiast and reporter from Holland, Zara went to a Baseball Manitoba female team tryout. She spent 2 years with the under-14 squad and another 3 seasons with the under-16 team, 1 year as an overage player. She plans to try out for the under-21 team this season. Blessed with 2 excellent and dedicated coaches, Rod Ledahowski of Toulon and Blaine Fortin from Lundar, Dixon really enjoyed 2 national tournaments in 2018 and 2019 at Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Both Ledahowski and Fortin are Manitoba Baseball Hall of Famers, and Hacko was the team manager. All three had a profound influence on me, Zara said. The Maritimes were beautiful, and life by the Atlantic Ocean was a breath of fresh air. The people were really friendly, and the seafood was good. We were billeted at St. Vincent University. Her baseball positions were second base and left field. During the winter months, the girls' baseball practices were held in the Southport Gym at Portage La Prairie from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays. The 2020 Nationals scheduled for Prince Edward Island were cancelled due to COVID-19. Zara also played for the Carberry Collegiate Cougars and in the Carberry Minor Ball program since she was 10 years old. Catcher, third base, and shortstop were her positions in softball. In hockey, Dixon is a goaltender for a midget team which plays out of Souris and Wawanesa. We started this year but got shut down by the pandemic. In the school music program, she started with the flute in grade 7 and later moved to the oboe. Future plans for Zara would be continuing her education in sports. She would like to focus on kinesiology and proceed to a medical field, helping people, possibly physiotherapy. COVID-19 updates. Provincial government launches its COVID-19 immunization campaign. Manitoba's first COVID-19 immunization clinic began operation on Wednesday, December 16th. The clinic is located at the University of Manitoba's campus, adjacent to the Health Science Centre in Winnipeg. This site was chosen because it has the capacity to safely store the Pfizer vaccine, which must be kept at an ultra-low temperature and could not be moved after it was delivered. Nearly 900 appointments have been booked to immunize Manitoba's first priority group of specific at-risk healthcare workers. Each immunization appointment is expected to take about 45 minutes. Enforcement fines from December 7th to the 14th. Fewer individuals and businesses across Manitoba have been fined this past week for not following the provincial government's COVID-19 enforcement rules. In total, just 48 tickets were issued between the 7th and the 13th. The previous week, 85 tickets were handed out. The 48 new tickets include 7 $5,000 fines for businesses and 36 $1,296 tickets for individuals. There were also 5 failure to wear a mask fines levied at $298 each. A total of $82,146 in fines were issued last week. Since enforcement efforts began in April, 498 tickets have been issued, resulting in more than $765,000 in fines to businesses and individuals. Prairie Mountain Health 7-day COVID-19 average. Over the course of a recent 7-day period from Thursday, December 10th to Wednesday, December 16th, there have been 187 new COVID-19 cases reported within the Prairie Mountain Health region. Last week there were 152 new cases reported over the course of 7 days. The total cases in the Prairie Mountain are 1,390, with 1,040 of those recovered, 323 currently active, and 27 deaths. Brandon has the most active cases as of Wednesday, December 16th at 175. Whitemud, meanwhile, which encompasses Neepawa, has an active case of 1. Last week it had 3 active cases. The Winnipeg region currently has the most active COVID-19 cases with 4,049, while the Northern Health region has the second most active cases at 708. Interlake's active cases are third highest at 380, while Southern Health region is fourth with 337. Prairie Mountain's 323 active cases are currently the fewest of the 5 provincial RHAs. There's a picture of here titled Breaking the Prairie Sod. This undated photo is believed to have been taken just west of Eden. As well, the museum suspects that there may be members of the Eros family pictured. Those in the front center group have been identified as Vera Drusilla, Nellie Mae, Charles, and John Ray Pearson. If any readers know who is the remaining individuals, they are welcome to email details to Casper Warehon at the Banner and Press via newsroom@neepawapress.com. And if anyone out there has a historic photo that you would like to share of your own, give us your details by emailing news@neepawabanner.com. There's a little second section, Merry Christmas from the Banner and Press staff, which includes John Drinkwater, Bernie Miker, Shannon Robertson, Kay Diath, Sandra Unger, Ken and Christine Waddell, Gloria Kerluk, Casper Warehon, Matthew Gagnon, Owen Devereaux, Diane Warner, and Kira Patterson. And these are messages from different people that head our province. The first one is a message from Dan Mazier, the MP from Dauphin Swan River, Neepawa. He says, this holiday season will look much different than past years, but that is no reason to not spread joy and goodwill amongst your neighbors and communities in new ways. I encourage you to spread your generosity amongst those of less fortune, especially when so many people are experiencing new financial and personal challenges. I also encourage you to support our small and local businesses this holiday season. These businesses are the bedrock of our communities, and they have always stepped up to support our communities in times of need. It's our turn to step up and support them. Amazon and Walmart do not need your money to keep their doors open. Our local businesses do. Although 2020 has been turbulent, we have accomplished a lot together this year, whether it be spearheading rural internet and cell phone service or supporting farmers and agriculture. We have stood up for local businesses and fought for our rural communities. However, we all know there is a lot more work to do. I look forward to working for you in the year ahead. From my family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And a message from Eileen Clark, our MLA of Agassiz. 2020 is the year that most Manitobans will never forget. It's brought with it a great deal of fear, frustration, fatigue, and personal losses. It has also brought families, neighbors, and communities together to support and take care of each other. That is who we are. We help and donate in times of need. I have missed the usual interaction with people in our Agassiz constituency and beyond this year. The meetings, events, parades, fall suppers. We were so fortunate to enjoy a summer of great weather and outdoor activities with small groups of people and an extended fall of mild weather. The ag producers were able to seed and harvest with little disruption this year, which was a relief from past years in our area. Overall, I am grateful for the successes that have been achieved and the abundance of blessings we have received. I look to 2021 with hope in my heart and optimism for the expedient recovery of our people and our economy. We are a strong and resilient people. We have endured hardships before and risen to the challenges of staying focused and getting back on track. We will do that again. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Manitoba's healthcare providers, protection services, educators, staff, administration of our school systems, and the thousands of retirees and volunteers that have all gone above and beyond during a historic pandemic to ensure our families received care and services as required. On behalf of Jody, myself, and my family, we want to thank you for sharing support and understanding during a very difficult year. It will be like no other. but in the quiet of your own home, say a prayer for those who are not able to enjoy any kind of happiness at all because of circumstances in their lives that they cannot control. We look forward to physically seeing you all again as soon as possible, and we wish you a safe, healthy, and Merry Christmas. Now the message from Bob Adrianson, who is the Reeve of North Cypress Langford. The municipality of North Cypress Langford, NCL, has been reflecting on the year 2020 as it comes to an end. To say that 2020 was a different year would be an understatement, as the world has been battling the coronavirus pandemic since January. Nothing has been the same, even in our corner of Canada, as we all had to go about our lives differently in COVID-19. It is wonderful to see our residents supporting each other through this scary and uncertain time. I would like to thank the staff for adapting to changing situations to keep our citizens safe and informed. I would also like to thank our citizens for their patience as we navigate these strange times. And as we come close to Christmas, our public health officials are telling us to stay home and to keep safe. We isolate now so we can gather again when no one is missing. New vaccines are currently being distributed for immunization, and we will see the vaccine in our area in the coming months. Please continue to exercise safe infection control practices to keep our virus rates low. Mother Nature brought some crazy weather this way in early summer, causing overland flooding, road and bridge washouts. Over the course of the summer, we rebuilt roads and crossings, projects which amounted to costs of over $500,000. The provincial government has advanced funding to help offset some of these costs, which is very much appreciated. I would like to thank our office staff and Public Works Department for working hard to accomplish the repairs. I would also like to thank our residents for their patience as we work to manage the aftermath of the event and all the necessary steps to replace water crossings. As part of our regular road maintenance, several machinery roads were upgraded, making daily farming transportation safer and more efficient. It is Council's mandate to maintain an excellent road system. The Carberry NCL Fire Hall expansion was completed, and our area now has a first-rate facility. It is one more tool available to our outstanding fire crew to aid in keeping our residents safe when disaster strikes. I would like to wish all our staff a safe and happy holiday new year. Thank you very much for your hard work during this trying year. On behalf of the Municipal Council and staff, I want to wish everyone a happy holiday season, as well as a safe, healthy, and prosperous new year. There's a message from the Honorable Janice C. Filman, Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba. The festive season always seems to bring out the best in our province, and so it will again, despite the extraordinary challenges of the past year. Our shared community spirit and willingness to work together for the common good will guide us through these troubled times just as surely as they will shine again this holiday season. I'm so proud of our citizens, charities, and numerous other organizations throughout the province who have shown remarkable resilience and creativity in continuing their good works. They reflect the prairie ingenuity of and dedication to purpose and to each other that is so very Manitoban. Neighborhoods are aglow with seasonal lights and displays that bring a colorful sense of frivolity to the times, appealing especially to the young and young at heart. Our celebrations might be a little different this year, but the holiday spirit will certainly endure. As the Queen's representative in Manitoba, I am pleased to extend season's greetings to all citizens, along with my best wishes for a safe and happy holiday. May the warmth of the season fill your hearts and your homes today and throughout the coming year. And last but not least, a message from our own Mayor of Neepawa, Blake McCutcheon. On behalf of council members and our dedicated employees, I would like to extend our best wishes of peace, joy, and happiness to all during this holiday season. This is the time of year when we normally reflect on our past year, our goals achieved, and establish new goals for the new year. However, 2020 will be remembered as the 1-in-100-year pandemic which has circled the world and has brought challenges to our town that we have never experienced or encountered before. As a resident of Neepawa for 45 years, I am so proud to be part of a town and community that has stood strong and united during this pandemic, and for all committing to keep us all safe and secure. Although we know gatherings are restricted, we can still celebrate in our own ways and continue to remember our families, friends, neighbors, our colleagues, the elderly, and those we have lost this year. As 2020 comes to an end, we have been given the gift of hope that 2021, although it will take time and it will be a different normal, it will be one in which we will find our town of Neepawa returning to a familiar and ever-welcoming community. Let's remember that when we take care of ourselves, we take care of all of us. Season's greetings and a Happy New Year to all of our residents. And that is it for this week's Neepawa Banner and Press. And have a Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you next time.